Hi everyone. I am here for Queer Church. It is a wild week. We are on the last week of March. We are in this time, still in between the eclipse, in eclipse time, and really having this moment to think about big endings and big beginnings. There's some transits I'm going to talk about, an astrology update that are both personal big and societal big. And sort of on that vein, and sort of because I'm just on one right now, I'm going to read from Witches, Sluts, and Feminists. This is by Kristen J. Soleil, and it talks about how women over all of the eras have been called witches, and then sluts, and then feminists. And this it's sort of like a Bible for me. I would say it's called Conjuring the Sex Positive, sort of a pre-pleasure activism vibe of understanding femme divine. And because the transits are thinking about big revolution, there's a time for this. So I'm going to read a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit. Bear with me. And I encourage you, as always, to just let yourself. This is also just like a carved out time to think about something else, to get a moment outside of our to-dos, to get a moment outside of the maybe one thing you're really focusing on to try to change and try to shift. This is a little out here. So let yourself dance with this. Let yourself see what lands, what rolls, and if you want to just feel read to and be curious, I invite that in. This is from the chapter, Which Slut Are You? The Medieval to the Modern. In Christianity, the witch's earliest ancestor is Eve, the original girl baddie of the Bible. Eve is cast as weak and susceptible to Satan, ravenous for forbidden knowledge proffered in apple form by its slithery mission. And I talk about that in my book as well, kind of thinking about Eve as this original witch, as this original sinner. It says, when Christianity began to take root in Europe during the first millennium, conflict began to brew between newly minted devotees and those steeped in goddess-worshipping, nature-based faiths. At the time, many people still dedicated themselves to Diana, Roman goddess of the hunt, the moon, and childbirth, and Hecate, Greek goddess of the moon, the crossroads, and witchcraft. And so I want to just bring this in to kind of think about and call up and see if anything conjures for you, which it is for me, of origins before patriarchy, before colonization, before all of these systems that we've had, because we are in a time of revolution. And so I'm raising this from witches, sluts, and feminists to kind of wake up a little bit and to think, I've been an activist against these systems for as long as I can remember. And there's something about growing up so steep in late stage capitalism after colonization, so removed that it feels almost like these systems have been here for so long, like almost like I accept patriarchal leadership, I accept white supremacy, and we can't, right? And so whatever we can do, it's crumbling itself, but like whatever we can do to also wake up our spirit to the before times. So this is also kind of part of how it was brought in. There's this interesting thing they're talking about in the mid 1400s when the printing press was invented. We talk a lot today about social media, what it does to our brains, what it's doing to our spirit, what it's doing to kind of disconnect and fragment us from each other and us from our own thought patterns. That's why I do this very long form share. And it's interesting. So in the 1400s, again, printing press invented, they're sending out, there was sort of like a equivalent, Kristen says it's sort of like an equivalent to a viral meme. It's called the Malicious Maleficrum in 1486. And it says, all witchcraft comes from carnal lust, which is in women insatiable. And yeah, great. And like the ways that this talks a lot about the ways that women being female flesh unchained, like the fear. And I talk a lot. This isn't just for women. This isn't just people that were even socialized as women. This is understanding that the systems that we have been built on an a discrediting and because of the power and fear that we all have in our access to femme divine. And I ask you to maybe consider your access to femme divine and delicious pleasure and what it could be to be woken up. This, I'll just see this other quote from historical cultural historian Ryan Easler in The Chalice and the Blade, Our History, Our Future. They said, if we read the Bible as normative social literature, the absence of the goddess is the single most important statement about the kind of social order that the men who over many centuries wrote and rewrote this religious document strove to establish and to uphold. So I talk in my book about, even also in addition to that, Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene being purposely removed, told to be destroyed, like anything that could have been and that was about women leadership in the church, matriarchal leadership, and something that wasn't top down, something wasn't 12 dudes next to Jesus. Like all of that was cut out. Everything was institution. And what did that do, right? We know what that's done. And I say that not just for Christianity, but because our country is being divided and Christianity is a main religion that's being used to have morality, to create so much harm. And here we are in this week, the last week of March, for the idea of revolution. All right, thanks for going on me with that. If you want to talk more, you want to check out my book, please do. Links in my bio. If you want to get your copy of Witches, Sluts, and Feminists and talk to me at any time, please do. This week, like I said, March is eclipse season. March is circle, circle, circle. This is the month. So we're almost out. Like we've almost done it. We're almost to the rest of 2025. So just know that sometimes things get worse right before they're about to get better, right before they're about to shift. And if you are tired, if you've been not sleeping, if you've been rustling around, if you're going through major shifts and changes without a society built on the amount of time that it takes for us to heal from and prepare for big shifts, I feel you. I'm with you. You're not alone. This is the time. We are leading up this week towards the last eclipse of this first eclipse season on Saturday, March 29th. Really early in the morning, 4 a.m., 3:56 a.m., we'll have a new moon, but mostly partial solar eclipse in Aries. We are already in Aries sun season. We are in the first sign. This is, again, solar new year. We're in the fresh start, the new year. And then we'll have this moon moving into Aries. We have this like solar eclipse in Aries. Aries, again, is the first sign. Aries is fire. Aries is, I like to think of it like an arrow on fire. You're going. Where Aries isn't the most organized or precise, it isn't the most let's make a plan. It is, but it is gonna go, and it's great for fire starting. It's great for new beginnings. It's great for like, let's go, pack the bags and we'll figure it out later. And I don't know about y'all, but personally and culturally, like we could use some fresh starts, right? And so we're getting that in this eclipse moment. And Aries is also very brave. Aries is courage. And so I encourage you to really think about what is it that's going on for you this week or longer that is ready for a fresh start and that is requiring some courage. There's more courage to be kind of soaked in this time. This is also the final eclipse in a series of 6 eclipses that started April 20th, 2023. So pause for a moment for you to think about where you were April 2023. That's 3 years after 2020. That's before, a year and a half before. Like, what is it that was going on for you? I guess 2 years now. In April of 2023 that might have started, and there's been 6 eclipses to kind of cycle through, in a new way, in a new way, in a new way. And this is the last one. And so there's some, focus areas for Aries as personal plans, courage, independence, new beginnings, final decisions. And Aries is really like ego. So this is a lot of for you. How do you show up? How do you reflect? How do you build connection? How do you show up in the moment? What are your habits, coping mechanisms, impulse controls that are ready for review, that are ready for, or that are already shifting, changing, ending? We are in that vibe this week. We are, hey, ooh, no problem. We are leading towards this. That's really the focus. And I will say, because Aries has so much about bravery, it's a great time to really think, especially now as we lead up to Friday, what are you afraid of? When you think about the goals, when you think about where you want to be, again, the ego, very personal for you, how you want to show up in friendship partnerships, how you want to show up professionally, who you want to be in your family relationships, who you want to be as a parent, like whatever it is, that what is your thing that you're showing up as, and what's the fear? We often talk about goal setting, think about wanting to go to a place, but we also actively, energetically, and sometimes in action work against it, right? We're like, I want to be in relationship. I want to be in relationship. Someone comes along who's great, and we're like, I gotta run. We want a job. We want this thing. We want to have all this, this is the profession. And then an interview comes up, and it's like, am I going to take it or not? And that is sometimes our intuition, and sometimes that is our fear. This is a great eclipse to show us what is underneath. Again, eclipse is like snow globe season. What's underneath? What's coming up? And we don't have to ritual. We, in fact, don't ritual around eclipse. We're not biased to ritual. It's just a noticing. What have you noticed? What is keeping you up at night? What is on your mind? And what are you resisting? All of those things, there's some truths that can be more easily accessed, especially this weekend. So maybe you carve out a little bit of time, Friday night, Saturday morning, to investigate that, to feel that, to see what it is for you that is ending, and what it is that is beginning in larger ways. Well, not all of the crystal cards wanted to be a part of this pull, and that's all right. I'm wondering, also, I just want to mention before I pull a couple of cards to close us out, that on Sunday, Neptune is also moving into Aries, and Neptune is much larger transits. Neptune only moves about every 14, 15 years. I think it was like 2012, the last time that Neptune moved. And it hasn't been in Aries since like the 1800s. Aries, again, being the first sign. So Neptune, with the moon, we're following the now, even with eclipses a little bit longer. Neptune is generation. Neptune is decade. So there is also some larger community shifts of restart beginning again this Sunday. So there's a little bit of opportunity for that. And even if you want to pull the Aries of it this Sunday, kind of thinking about what is your role in community, and what is ending and what is beginning. So there's so much going on this week. Be kind to yourself, drink water, get whatever rest you can. cancel some of your plans this weekend. I say that as someone who never cancels her plans. Say that to myself. Maybe I will. And let's just get a crystal message, a crystal card. What's going to help us with the energy this week and leading up to the solar eclipse? Ooh, look at you. Celestite. What is it? A blue-gray celestite is a delicate sulfate mineral. It gets its name from the Latin word heaven, and it may be close. If you close your eyes and ask it nicely, maybe it will take you there. I'm not sorry about that. Who needs it? Anyone brazenly ignoring the consistent inner voice that actually has some good ideas for how you might better handle this whole life thing. That is what eclipses are doing. Eclipses are just going to shift the energy. They're just going to make it impossible to ignore. If you're kind of like, I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that when there's time. I'll apply then. I'll reach out then. I'll change that then. Eclipses are like, time's now. So here we go. Let's not ignore those messages. Where to put it? As a calming adornment wherever you meditate or pray. When to use it, when it's time to stop and really listen. With Celestite as a guide, you might be surprised what you hear. This is the eclipse. This is perfect. And it says the mantra is tune into your serenity. So again, it's Celestite. I'll give like a quick image here. I don't know if you see it, but Celestite. And yes, and that is the energy we want to embody for this week and for this eclipse. Just trust, just knowing that things are going to be more available to us. And, you know, just like procrastination, like I'm a big procrastinator. I'm like, I don't want to write this paper. I don't want to do this thing. I don't want to write this email. I don't want to whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to clean my desk. I'm going to do everything else. But there's a certain point when the pushing off of doing something is actually more mental and emotional work, sometimes logistic work, than just doing the damn thing, right? This is the energy of like, just accept it, just do it, like, just have it be done, just face it. You'll feel better on the other side. I wish that for you. I wish that for me. Let's take a moment together before we close with everything that's been said, with everything that's maybe rolling through. Take a moment to just let fall away whatever isn't for you, whatever is come up that's a little prickly or sticky that you don't need. Just let that go. And let's breathe in some really luscious and pleasurable and delicious energy, air. At my Moon Magic meet yesterday, we were talking about swaddling. Like, go ahead and just like swaddle yourself. Let yourself feel held and connected. The cosmos ever in your favor, conspiring for you. What do we need to hear? Ooh! We have 6 of Wands here. I'm using Christy C. Rhodes' Next World Tarot. Cutie Pock Activist deck. Just show it one more time. 6 of Wands, fire, transition, and change. Yes, Aries. Yes, all the things. Yes, we're in the fire season. We're in change. Might as well be in it. Might as well embrace it. The 6 of Wands is victory. It's I've come back from the thing and here I am. And here you are. You've done it. You're still living in this really difficult world. Like, you did it. And we're here. And we're going to make the changes that make it worth it, right? Personally and collectively. So this is decolonization and rebirth. Victory, Jupiter in Leo. So I am so excited for you. I'll just say I'm taking a little break. I'm going to go in April and travel and go to Asia and see my family in Malaysia. And I'll be sharing some things, but taking mostly a queer church and rest break. So I will see y'all on the other side. But sending so much fire energy your way. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side of the eclipse.